Hello guys, Tos here, and in today's video I'll be going over a replay that I've played in high rated versus Cyber Dragon. You heard that right, Cyber Dragon K9. So without further ado, let's go right ahead. So I start with Stake Your Soul, revealing Borger. This is the only way I get to play with my engine. And if this gets hit with Ash, I'm obviously not in the best spot, but I can like play with full K9 engine because I have Izuna. So I'm not too worried, honestly. In fact, um, I'm basically protected from Imperm Veiler and Ash Blossom because again, they would have Ash Take Your Soul, and Imperm Veiler have values or Borger, depending on the game state, but it's probably going to be Borger if I end up getting hit. In fact, at Raisin, I'm trying to set up my Holy Sue. So here it's very important. If you go with the standard line of Link 1 Raisin add back, Holy Sue special summon, Holy Sue effect, you run into the problem where whatever you summon of Holy Sue is fifth summon and then you can get hit with Nib. Now, obviously, in this particular game state, getting hit with Nib is not the end of the world because we have Izuna for K9 engine, but I don't see why I would put myself in that position regardless, right? Like, yes, I will have Holy Sue for the next turn at that point, and I will have Izuna to play, but if I can play around it, why not? And the way to play around it is to go Madlove, because if I go Borger or Values, that's still a summon, but Madlove getting the fire back to my hand does not eat a summon to get the fire back to my hand. So I go effect, put back, effect, reveal fire and dark, special summon, and now I'm protected. Add Yokel, Yokel effect, reveal Izuna. You might be wondering why I didn't use the effect of Izuna is because I had another Izuna and I wanted him to, if he had like sort of interruption, to use it rather than I use Izuna and now he doesn't want to use it because I have the Lupus Engrave. I wanted him to feel like I was misplaying to give him a chance to like use a hand trap that he's been holding, but he didn't. So I go effect Nash Knight, Mask, Lantern, and now I go Izuna. Since at this point I know he has nothing. Add case of K9, case, I add back Yokel, and I think a bit on the ad to make him think that I'm doing the Yokel ad for an attribute, when in reality I'm doing this Yokel ad because I already have Izuna. But I don't want to give him the free information that I do have Izuna. Because if you go case of K9 immediately add Yokel, he knows you have Izuna. But if you think about it a bit, which you're allowed to do, this is not bluffing, it's not against the rules. You're just thinking about your ad, and that tells your opponent maybe he doesn't have Izuna, he just added Joku because he needs the dark attribute. Pop, case of K9, stand to play. Effect. Return it back to hand, get my draw. I hear a slight hiccup. I already used Take Your Soul, but I realized it immediately. Back summon. And my zones are not the best. This Holy Sue should have been here, so Madlove should have been summoned here, but it's hard to like think about your entire line before you do it because again, this is the deck where you're trying to play based on what your opponent has slash may have. Right? So a lot of things like change based on your opponent's interaction. So he starts his turn with dominant forbidden droplet, sending Lupus and Chimera, negating he negated my Ripper and my Umbral Horror Masquerade. So these two are negated, these are not. On summon, I'm assuming that he is trying to just remove the Rock of the Vanquisher by summoning the Fortress. So I'm just removing it on summon. And if he uses the card effect, now we can get to see the rest of his hand. He normal summons core after special summoning Negation Fortress. So now I know every card in hand graveyard and just have to play around that. He adds Realm. I ask him to read that. Sure, I take his core, not to prevent anything because he can still like Rock of the Vanquisher and core. But I'm taking it to prevent him from like going for an SP line, making a monster. Like I don't know exactly what this deck plays, but I didn't want. I just know that I didn't want him to have two bodies on the field, so I just took. And he goes. I go values in case he goes for realm. He removes both. I'm fine with that. He goes Realm. He activated it here at first, and I would have allowed it if it was here, because Negation Fortress just negates the entire column. But he did not, so I just popped the Cyber Diagonal. Now he goes Lupus. I pop everything, including Negation Fortress, Raisin, add back my follow-up, add Zhao. He goes Worm, send Herds, add, and now I just book it, and that should be game, because he is out of effect. And that is it, that's game on. And now for the actual interesting game, why I chose this replay. So I Perulia him in standby. My hand is Force Release, Case of K9, so my Lantern is dead. And Stake Your Soul Raisin, which is Stake Your Soul basically for not a good attribute because I already have Raisin, but this is like a decent hand per se. And he has a very good hand for Cyber Dragon. So he starts Realm, back to additional normal summon, I draw another Raisin. He adds Clockwork, dumps these, back to Worm, sends 4. And now he makes Ripper, and now my interruptions are not that good. He goes Ripper, add, I'm trying, I'm thinking, and I decide that, hey, if I draw like a nib or something, I want the nib to be live. So I don't see what this Ash Blossom is going to give me value for during this turn. So I decide to Ash the Ripper, hoping that it forces the Ripper negate. And if it doesn't, then he doesn't get to add, and he also does not get to set. Now he had Lantern, so it's incorrect for him to Ripper, but he did. And I think that's a misplay. Right? Because if you have Lantern, you just allow that, you go Lantern. Oh, never mind. Haha, he did not have a target in grave. So it is definitely correct to negate. Do not mind me. But yeah, it's definitely correct to negate if you don't have a monster. And now he has Yokel for Lantern. And now I have another Perulia. I did not immediately drop the Perulia because I'm thinking the only effects he's gonna special summon from the hand, or monsters that he's gonna special summon from the hand, are gonna be effect special summons. And also, if I just drop the Perulia, he will be less incentivized to actually use any effect that summons from the hand, because he doesn't need it. This is like a good end board on its own. So he adds Zuna, adds Case adds another Zuna. He goes for Kunkuri, for summon Worm, and now Zuna, and I shin my Perulia. I get my 2 draws, special summon Zuna sends Lupus, overlay for Nova, revive, and then Lupus. And as you can see, this is an insane board. He goes SP. And now it's back to my turn. So he has Book of Eclipse, Force Release, Ripper for the Force Release, Cyber Dragon Infinity, Psychic Blaster, SP Little Knight, all monsters on the field are machine, and he has Lupus plus Zuna. And I have triple Raisin, baby. So I go Stick Your Soul, summon Jiaolong, summon it in this column, because I know I'm not summoning Raisin in this column right now. He goes for Force Release on summon. I go Shane Jiaolong, reveal both Raisins, add Holy Soup, and Jiaolong dies. I go Case of K9. The reason I went Case of K9 is he was out of the pop, and I wanted the attribute, as well as Yokel being very good into his board. And if he negated it with Infinity, then he doesn't have Infinity to negate the rest of my cards. So I wasn't like really worried. So add Yokel, especially Yokel, reveal Holy Sue. He chains, and the reason he chains, which is very correct, is if he chains and takes Holy Sue, the Holy Sue that I reveal, then Yokel doesn't get to special summon, and it's basically a 2-for-1 with this effect. So I have to chain my Holy Sue, which was the plan, honestly. I chain Holy Sue. Now if I eat another interruption, then Yokel and Holy Sue 1 interruption each, which is fine. Chains Azuna, which I don't know if that's correct. He moves Mad Love. And I chain Holy Sue to someone from deck. He chains SP, but then he says that he thought it was the control monster, so I just allowed it. Obviously, like, it's just rated, who cares about takebacks. And he makes this guy through normally Vimana. This guy has two effects basically. The first effect is basically an attack modification, which actually will come up in this game. And the second effect is whenever I activate a monster effect, he can detach two materials to negate the activation soft once per turn. So basically, how this card works is he can boost one of his monster's attacks and then attach an Xyz from the graveyard to it. So he attaches one, and then on his turn he attaches one. So he basically has an Omni for this turn and his turn. So like both turns, basically. I go activate start, trying to like force something, and also start makes it so that if I normal summon raise afterwards, or like activate Mad Love and he negates that, then my monster will not die because of start protection. So he pops that on activation. Normal summon Raisin. He goes. So I'm thinking here, what play allows me to actually like win the game? And the more I think about it, the only way is to make an Xyz and Zeus him. So the issue with making the Xyz is this Vamana effect. So if this Vamana effect wasn't here, this would be at 2100 and my monster would be at 15. And then my monster would gain attack points because you guys can see here, it has two effects where Vanquish all monsters you control gain 1000 and all opponent's monsters lose 800. So it's basically buffing itself to 3k in this game state. And then it loses 500 from Clockwork Knight because all machine monsters I control will lose 500 and that becomes a machine because of Clockwork. So it would be 2500 and then SP would be 2100. So I can hit over it, but the moment I go into battle phase, hit over the SP, he can go the mana effect and damage step, attach one of his monsters, probably a Ripper, and make this game 1000. My monster dies and I lose the game. So I kept thinking about it, and the only way that I realized that I can win is by attacking this and then making Zeus like that. So I go battle phase, attack this, take some damage. I go rock, trying to force SP. He goes SP. I go raisin. He should have targeted another monster, like maybe werewolf. That way, so if I pop this, which I would, he wouldn't get. But again, I always have a Vanquish Soul monster in rotation, so I can always use it because I can always make rocks and then Zeus afterwards. So I pop. He goes effect, removes this. I add back Xiaolong with rock. And because Raisin activated his effect on the field, Xiaolong triggers, even though Xiaolong wasn't in the hand before. But because of the way the hand effects work, it doesn't matter if the card was in your hand prior to that, as long as it is in your hand when you are able to use it. So I'll go Xiaolong here. And then I can't play around Droplet, right? However, I can play around I can play around Imperm, and SP plays around Imperm on Zeus. Now, obviously, he probably would have impermed or dropleted whatever I used prior to this, but still, I don't lose anything by playing around it. I just lose like an SP in my extra deck because I'm Zeus in the board. Now make Zeus. He tries to argue that I can't Zeus, but his Vamana battled, so I can Zeus, and he missed the opportunity to activate Book of Eclipse. And as you guys can see, we basically broke his board. We have Ash Blossom. I said this as a bluff. Hopefully, like he pops it or something. And again, in my following turn, I have normal summon Raisin for Holy Sue, and then Holy Sue Light Dark, and then Raisin can add back as well from graveyard. And I have like a whole lot, and he has two cards basically. And the reason why I wanted to show this replay in general is just to showcase that regardless of what your opponent ends on, if they don't play perfect and you just play as well as you possibly can, you can break their board. Like his end board was basically like two Omnis, three interruptions, as well as two interruptions in the spell trap zone, and one interruption in hand. And we managed to like beat that with not even the best engine hand we could have had, with just like a decent engine hand. Three raised them, by the way, in my starting hand. So I asked this because he might play Regulus. And the reason I made the Typhon over the Zeus is simply because I did not want him to like get access to Cyber Dragon and then with Cyber Dragon make this guy again the Fortress guy that he made in game one. So I wanted to like make a fiend over the machine so that he no longer has a machine. He makes Hound. It doesn't matter if I made this in attack position, by the way, because A, if he goes Zeus, then he can't activate the Zeus, and B, this is protected by battle regardless. He goes Hound. I go raise and hopefully to raise and pop this. And this only protects the turn that it was summoned by battle or card effects, so he is not protected. Now we go Rock of the Vanquisher first, just in case he has something. I go Holy Sue, special summon both, and then Shane Rock of the Vanquisher, add back Jiao Long, special Jiao Long, add Caesar values. Now I'm the game state that I cannot lose basically. I overlay for Ripper, and now I have Force Release with the Ripper, and I just have full K9 interruption, full Vanquish Soul interruption. He has one card in hand, and that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative. Stay safe and have a very nice day.